not going to be easy to just try to run in and damage away.
I mean, I opened the win probability, John, and it's already 64% per game. My God.
Yeah, it's great. You gotta love Dota Plus. It already knows by draft. I mean, look, Dota Plus just does this. It eventually just somehow becomes 50-50 and forgets that it ever gave this advantage earlier on. But I will say it's just not an easy game for Boom. Like, how are you supposed to catch a Quap? Are you just gonna bank an Avalanche toss? Or are you just gonna rely on a Blink Lasso? Yeah.
Went up by 2%. Nothing happened, Gabe. Nothing happened yet.
It's the draft, man.
They're literally running across the map and the AI is just like, no, that's another
5.
oh, they ran the wrong way. Oh, no.
66. Well, maybe should have just hit 100, maybe.
Maybe. Should have.
Leaking the script.
Smoke on smoke scenario here, John. Both teams want to fight. Both teams are also going to narrowly avoid each other in that dyad triangle. Mac, however, might think about running into vision. They'll get some deep wards down in that triangle, but more Mac. I think he should be okay. They don't seem to really have enough lockdown unless Watson can land a stun. He's going to try. Mac, he's going for the bounty. Oh, they were so patient as well. Meanwhile, Malady also caught out. Who's going to drop first? It is going to be Malady. So Boom do secure first blood onto Tim's. Meanwhile, Watson does secure a kill for himself onto Mac.
Yeah, I mean, I get that play from Boom. Right, they managed to secure all bounty runes up against an alchemist. That feels good. Getting a kill on Watson at least kind of compensates for that. But it is a little bit better getting the bounty runes here in this case for the Alch. So you don't mind actually trading Mac away for that. You get a little bit of a gold injection for Tim's to start off. Just a slight amount of EXP as the game is still... Dota Plus is still... what is this crap? This is just a phenomenal crap. Yeah, this is something else. All right, so I guess we're just huffing coking for Southeast Asia as this game is just predicted to lose already. I guess we should just give up. Boom Esports, if Mushi's watching it for some reason, bring the boys upstairs and be like, guys, we were going to lose that. Dota Plus said we were going to lose. There's no way it's wrong. Why even bother?
Try making that excuse to Mushi. See what he thinks about it, John. I'm sure he'd have some kind words to give back to you. We're looking at bot lane FBZ. Should have a pretty good time against Watson and Malady. The issue is, of course, you are giving a bit of extra value to Shadow Word every time you do Whirling Death the Alchemist, but overall, I think FBZ is still going to be more than happy to spam away. Though, again, whether he can actually kill Watson in this lane or really slow him down is a different question entirely. As long as the Warlock support's there, it could be pretty challenging.
And it could be. And you're not applying as much pressure with FBZ as you are as Ace up top. Like, look at this pressure onto Jackie. Always low HP. Does have the stick charges to play with. The Tofu's constantly jumping in with Blink Strike and the Aphotic Shield. And it's been just a great lane for Abaddon Ricky. Put the shield up. You can't really counterplay. You have soft targets that you can just poke into. And it's a very uncomfy time for the side of Boom. Again, you can't really rely on Decrep. At least offensively, it does really nothing in this lane. So you're looking to just stall out for Jackie, I suppose. But you can't stop these heroes from right-clicking the other guy if they are decrept up. So you always have some clean options here. And this kind of start for the Terrorblade does not bode well. Like, again, your Alchemist is going to be out farming that. Watson should just naturally scale faster. Jackie can keep up with some clean illusion micro for sure, as we've seen some Terrorblades do, but it's not going to be easy keeping track if the lane does go one-sidedly. Taking a look at the mid lane, at least, you are having a lane for Mac. At least he's not completely shut out in this Quap matchup, which does feel very good for the Queen of Pain, of course, for Quinn. He has a range advantage, he has good poke. He can just scream of pain every single time Mac walks in, and there's not much the Tiny can do to really pressure. You can maybe threaten with a toss or a little bit of a tree grab toss as well and some cleave damage, but Quinn's controlling the lane quite well and not going to lead to too much good times for Mac. He's also not going to have the best of times in trying to deny off water runes. Quinn has the movement advantage with Blink, of course, and his supports are too tied into these hard side lanes that there's not going to be any assistance for those water runes when they do come up.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, that's for sure. I mean, I just keep looking back at this top lane, and it's just... Like, Jackie's okay now in terms of HP, but that's pretty much only because Tofu's busy trying to contest the small camp pool that was made by Zhao. It's just every time the Riki is available, it's just so hard for Jack Jackie to maintain himself in this lane. And of course, Zhao can't really help too much at all, apart from just pulling that small camp over and over again. Really, at this point, apart from that, I mean, every lane so far is going in favor of Gaimin Gladiators, as they are going to try and jump Tofu now. Fair bit of damage being dealt by Zhao. Tofu actually almost dead. One more Nether Blast would do it, but he's going to be outside of range, so it will not be a kill to come. But they do at least get Tofu out of there for a bit.
And that's a little bit of breathing space here for the side of Boom. Again, this lane is still rough as every time Metamorphosis is down. When it's up, they do have some good poke onto Ace at the very least, but even just the level 2 Aphotic Shield will reflect some damage back, and that's still a little bit of a nuisance for Jackie. I like this from Ace, going for the value point in Mistcoil over that Curse of Avernus we tend to see. And even just having that small bit of magic damage onto Jackie, a low HP hero, does do phenomenal amounts of damage. Because again, Jackie's just never the healthiest in this lane, and they don't really have Lotus control either. You're not going to have access to those resources to try to top you up. It's going to be a slow go for Boom, and that bodes well for Gaimin. And in comparison, you're having a pretty great time here on Watson. Sure, FBZ is kind of matching you, but you're not shut down on this Alk. You've got your phase boots up, you're going for the Soul Ring, you're going to get your Radiance eventually. You've got this runaway lane for Quinn on mid, 30 CS in comparison to 22 here from Mac. Water Rune control was pretty on point for Quinn. He's going to have Power Rune control as well with the vision advantage he does have on hand. They are starting to poke a little bit on Watson, but a tree cut from Watson prevents FBZ from going forward. And just these micro plays from Watson ruining it.
Watson surely was just dead had he not chopped that tree down. It's a very nice little play there with the quelling. Meanwhile, top lane, Tofu again scouting about. They've got a TP rotation from Malady now as well on the Warlock through the outpost, but seems like Malady not happy with the with what he's seeing. Just goes back towards down to the bottom lane. Keep Watson happy. Because Watson, I mean, sure you had that almost kill attempt from FBZ, but he's still third in CS. You know, he's having a great time on this Alchemist. This is a fantastic game for Watson so far.
And it is. He's got some stacks as well. No one contesting from side Boom. They haven't been able to really play beyond the tier 1 tower, of course, and they're not really able to gate across. Zhao will try to gate now, but it's also at the same time Maladich is spotting him out. Although
Malady should be going down. Chase is on. In fact, never mind. The Shadow Word's just going to keep him alive long enough, and well, they are going to bring Mac in now down to this bottom lane. Mac's going to take a courier. Do they go for at least the Warlock? I mean, surely they catch him. And they will. So Maladich will go down, and well, it seems like it is going to end up being a tier 1 bottom tower to drop. So Boom Esports finding a quick kill into the tier 1 tower. There won't be any kind of response on the top tier 1 tower either, so some good work being done here by Boom thus far. But here comes Watts. Stun will be channeled. FBZ will take it right to the face, and FBZ will get the chain away just barely. He'll go for the TP play out as well, and will make. So tier 1 tower does not drop, but it's a lot of damage that was dealt.
Yeah, they're applying some good pressure here on side of Boom. I'm a little bit curious why Quinn didn't opt to go, as they do trade lives there.
Now, Quinn does secure his life first, so a bit of a win there for Quinn.
I'm just a little bit curious why Quinn didn't opt to rotate when he did have the amp damage rune. I mean, you still find this decent enough trade on mid. You applied some mid tier 1 pressure as well, but you don't relieve that pressure bot. I think the one thing for Gaimin though is, again, you're having a free ride for Ace up top. You're keeping Jackie in check. You're not really allowing the Terrorblade to just kind of free farm a lane. He does have some stacks of his own in his jungle right next to the tier 1 though, and that is something Jackie will secure at the very least to try to catch up. Again, you haven't really stopped Watson. Those same resources that the Alchemist has mirroring the Terrorblade is just going to be a lot quicker for the Alchemist to hit the spikes. Already working into that Radiance, of course, that you tend to see for the Alchemist. Already has a Talisman of Evasion, which can help him. Maybe some of that right-click damage that can come in. Tier 1 tower will eventually fall to even get the gate movement across here from Jackie, who does have the Metamorphosis ready if they do find a fight angle here.
Watson is going for a stun again. This time Tim's the one to get caught out on the Batrider. Tim's going to try to get out of the smoke screen. He is actually getting away so far, but Tofu eventually will still secure his life. In the meantime though, Jackie did rotate. He did find the tier 1 bottom tower. So you do get away with at least the tier 1. Which I think for a support Batrider kill, you can't really complain if you're Boom Esports.
No. I mean, it's some space out. It allows FBZ a bit of a free lane to just shove in, try to work into that Kaya timing when he can really start to burst heroes down. It can start to drag some tension top if you're not careful. Speaking of, Ace being targeted just a tad bit. Mind you, again, they don't have Lasso. They don't quite have level 6s on these supports. It's relatively early for that. But Metamorphosis is still ready on Jackie if they did want to try to make a Gambit play here.
Ace gonna get jumped for now. Jao gonna get to work as well. Ace does have that level 6 marker, will pop it. Is healing up through it. Max rotated, tossed in, but it's gonna be the TB illusion that was tossed in, so Ace is still okay. Meanwhile, FBZ gets his life taken away by Maladich. In FBZ, I mean, Ace, he doesn't die. He makes it.
Yeah. And then it's just the Abaddon doing Abaddon things. Level 3 Aphotic Shield is a big barrier to try to burn down. You had Borrowed Time with a level 6. Not enough burst damage, no synergy. You can't really, again, try to play with Magical Burst with D-Crap because there's really nothing outside of Ava Toss. Maybe get this angle out to shove in bot, but considering what you've lost, again, just dropping FBZ is already a big deal here. Considering that, again, he is kind of the X factor for this game. It's him that needs to kind of style, get this Kaya timing and try to burst. Gaimin are keeping track of that quite well.
They'll jump in. They're going to try for Quinn, but Quinn's got plenty of help around him. They'll drop the Warrock right onto Mac. Mac's going to be all right to TP out, but Tim's not so much. In fact, he helps Tofu out with that flame break. Knocking him to the high ground. Decrepify, they're going to allow Tim some space to get away. Now Tofu's being jumped. Big Sonic Wave out from Quinn, though, landing on 3 targets. There goes Tim's, there goes Mac, and there goes Zhao. They'll find 3 for the price of nothing. Nobody will die on game. Everyone survives. And Maladich is just slowly healing them up through these fights, John. I mean, this Shadow was just doing a bit too much healing, and Boom, they just don't have the answer for these team fights yet.
No, and I don't think they're going to have any clean answers for these team fights anytime soon. Outside of just playing pickoffs. Right, like your lineup just doesn't really have team fight control. You've got Avatos as your best bet, maybe a Lasso, maybe a reflection back from Jack. He's going to be annoying, especially onto this Abaddon if he doesn't time his Aphotic Shield right on Ace, but probably not going to be an issue considering that self-dispel on hand. Very odd pause for settings on Mac, as we always get these odd pauses with headsets, Discord settings. You guys got to set your macros up.
What settings do you change on Tiny? It's not that complicated, is it?
I know, hotkeys. It's like, guys, you've been in the boot camp for at least a day. Surely you've played a pub or scrim. Surely you've picked your settings. That is beautiful music. Epic RPG music, fantasy music, medieval core, as the kids say.
See, this is my kind of music when you got that angelic voice come in. Oh, my favorite. I don't want to talk because it's actually good music. Well, we can't not talk, John. That's our jobs. We got to say something.
No. They paid for the music as well. So, you know,
did they?
You got to license and stuff. You know, there's just like a website where you can license music for whatever production you're doing. Still, they're looking at the. Well, you know, you weren't also a professional producer, Mikey. They hired us to just run streams and they'd give us the music. We didn't have to buy the licenses ourselves back in those days. We had a playlist.
Back in those
We had the chill Dota playlist, if I remember. That was one of my favorite ones. Those are the days.
Yeah.
Those are also the days when Boom was a stronger team.
Oh, well, you didn't have to do that to him, John.
I mean, it's reality though, right? Like that was the era of Boom all the way back.
I hate it. I told Gary. I told him. I said, Gary, don't try to trade Japoi. It's not a good idea. He wanted our bit, John. That's what he wanted. That's what he wanted.
You didn't even get him.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. I tried to warn him. Look, goodness
beautiful, snotty. Look at the model quality. Look at the polygons. Look at the facial expression. Like, gosh darn, 2024 quality. Look at that. Look at that model. And then you look at Morphling. If we had him in the game and we could compare the polygon count, it would be very sad that the mount would have more details than a full hero. So yeah, do you have to go ahead? Go ahead while Watson's disconnected. Good on you, Mac.
No,
Go upstairs.
Mac trying to get a quick handicap for his team. Appreciate that, Mac. Speaking of Mac, you know, I got to be frank, John. We've seen a few rotations from the boy. Little bit underwhelming. Net worth-wise in the tiny, currently sitting at 4K. It's a rough start for poor old Mac. He's not a big Mac right now, John. I'll tell you what.
No, he's one of those.
He ain't even a cheeseburger.
No,
he ain't nothing.
It's like you have a burger that's really tiny here.
Oh, he's like the apple slices you get from a Happy Meal. That's what he is.
No. You know what it is? He's like a minute burger. We never try that, but it's a buy one take one burger joint. The burgers are tiny. That's what a buy one take one. That's what Mac is right now. It's not a full on Mac at all.
No, absolutely not.
It's a sad time. We were having some fun in some qualifier games. I was with like second Mike, Hermes Knees Mike, and there was some all chat there. I think what was it? Yoa versus Armel, and we had someone say they said it in all chat: one rice mid versus unlimited rice mid, only rice mid in that matchup. That was a fun time. Speaking of food, you know, clap twice rice versus one time rice.
Why is it always rice with you?
Man, how will you? You've known me for how many years, Mike? You've known me how many years? How many years have you known me?
Quite too long. Too many years.
7, 8 years? Mike, how many years have you known I'm Filipino? 7 or 8 years as well. How many times have we been to the Philippines, Mike?
In fairness, you could be easily mistaken for an American.
That's true. I confuse everyone. Every time I join a new Discord, they're like, oh, where are you from? I'm like, then some guys just take a guess. I'm like, all right, take a guess. For some reason, they think I'm Australian. I don't know. I feel like that's an insult to you, Mikey.
I mean, we do have a lot of Filipinos and Americans suddenly moving to Australia, so I guess.
Yeah. What is this? Look at the polygon count in this. The ancient granite golem. That is horrific. That's horrific. Get your posture right. This, you know, it just takes me back. Remember the old memes of golem get you gone?
Yeah.
And that's what it was. Along with the mud golems, of course. Golems have terrible posture for whatever reasons. We do have the go ahead.
Great time.
Those were great times. We do have a great time as well for Quinn, as he does have his full Dagon up. Oh, so things are just about to get rougher. Again, this mitigates a lot of that masochist, which, again, thinking about micro patches, when I saw the micro patch giving masochist one less spell amp and 1% more outgoing spell damage, it's like, why? Why 1%? Why are we doing these patches? I was so angry. Now I just remember how angry I was when I read that patch. I was like, what the hell is this? Why?
In fairness, you get angry every time you read a patch. So there is that.
Hey, I got very happy when I saw Lion Fist dead. You know?
Okay.
You got to give me that. I was super happy. I was like, oh, heck yeah.
Oh, Jackie.
It's fun.
Jackie's kind of... Oh, he's going to be all right. He'll run north. Zhao, going to just decrep and TP out of there. He's all right. That is the one big positive right now if you are Boom Esports, is if you have a TP available, chances are they can't cancel it. You know, you basically got Watson with a stun and that's it. Malilich not going to be too interested in dropping Chaotic Offering if he can avoid it, as now Jackie's still farming the northern side of the map, is eventually going to be found by Tofu. Question is, does Quinn want to make the rotation? And the answer seems to be no. Quinn will continue farming.
Yeah, but Tofu will still creep at least, try to make this as painful of a process for Jackie. Meanwhile, the free farm you're getting here on Watson, Radiant's already up on the Alchemist. He's got his triangle clearing up, no problems here for the side of Gaimin Gladiators, already invading across the river, playing on the side of Boom Esports map, and Boom really just have nothing to do. Look at this build up on FBZ. He's going straight for BKB. He knows he's got to be able to try to make a stand here. We're still waiting for that blink on Mac, and without that, it just doesn't feel like you have clean angles to play, but they've got to find a way. They're just pummeling in on these objectives with no care on the side of Gaimin.
Well, Jackie could be in pretty big trouble here. Jump in. FBZ's going to jump in with the chains out, but Golem has been dropped immediately on top of his head. Stun out onto Mac. Mac's stunned for a very long time as Quinn's going to jump in with a Scream and a Sonic Wave committal. Mac's still alive, but the chase is on now from Watson, but they don't want to dive the T3 tower. Very kind of messy engagement here from both sides, but Boom, they'll get away without giving any kind of lives away. They do get some spell committal from their end of things as Tofu will aggressively jump in onto FBZ by himself, and he's gone. The Tofu may be getting a little bit too excited. Because now Mac's going to find another. They'll toss back Ace. Ace, of course, still has the borrowed time available, but really does not want to have to use it this early. He's going to be alright to back off. Tofu will be the sacrificial lamb for now. Chase is on for more, but they're not really finding it as Quinn getting caught in the river for a second, but does have the blink away. Jackie even popping the metamorphosis for that, but won't really find much with it.
They're doing a great enough job inside of Boom to try to force Gaimin back on their side of the map. Right, like there's a minute and a half where they don't have to worry about chaotic offering. I still feel like you're losing a lot more on Boom simply because this is still time Watson's free farming. In comparison, Jackie has to join. You're throwing FBZ forward. He's still trying to save up for that BKB. Heck, Mac is still like 700 gold away from full blink, 600 gold away from that.
Tofu again. Gonna be caught a secondary time. Tim's this time will catch him out with a nice dust, and Tofu not gonna be too happy about that as he'll be right back to the graveyard for himself. And if you're Gaimin, like considering how great of a start you had to this game, number one, you probably want to slow things down just a little bit. You know, you give Watson a bit of time, get that initial farm, and then get moving.
I think this is actually fine from Tofu, though. It is somewhat valuable for a kill, considering that you are that far ahead on the side of Gaimin. At the same time, this is just space away from Watson. All of these kills are happening across the map. Watson has free reign up top. Again, he already has that Radiance up. He's getting ultra farmed on this Alchemist. He's hitting his key spikes. He's got a Blink Dagger flying in. For the side of Boom, this is allowing them to try to ramp up. Like, they're taking over that bot jungle just a tad bit. Tim's is inching towards the Blink Dagger. Mac already has his flying out at the very least, so you have some initiation angles you can take with the Tiny first. And the problem is that Jackie had to join you guys in walking around, right? So your Terrorblades kind of stalled out just a tad. At least Dragonlance is up, Yasha 2 parts away, or really basically 1 part away. And once you get into the Hurricane Pike, this becomes a little bit safer for the TV. Not fully safe though, mind.
Well, Mac's trying to jump in onto Quinn, but it's a very awkward initiation as now the cavalry trying to find a pickup. Will throw a stun out onto Mac, but Mac gets the blink away. So again, nobody really getting caught. Mac again going to be looking towards Watson this time around, but Watson going to make his way out. Mac does land the avalanche toss. Tims has the lasso, will drag him back in FBZ. And Watson does get caught. Boom Esports able to find a pretty damn good pickup.
And that's something you really don't want in Gaimin. That's your top net worth hero just gone. Not respecting the defensive wards at the side of Boom Esports drop and being able to gap close now with the blinks flying in. And if they keep getting these isolation sort of plays, that's where Boom Esports trying. That's the only way they win out here. If they find Gaimin 1 by 1.
Oh, they're going to find more. Mac moving in will at least take down Maladich here with Jackie. Meanwhile, they'll try to jump Tofu as well, but Tofu will blink strike out. This will allow some time though for Boom to just go right into that tier 1 middle tower, and it seems like there'll be no defense to come here from Gaimin. Nothing they can do about it. And this is a pretty big deal for Boom. I mean, considering again, like you were about 7k ahead just a moment ago. Now their net worth advantage will dip to 4k. And suddenly Boom Esports, I mean, that they've kind of found their footing. Like you've got your blink up on Mac. Jackie's starting to become a bit of a nuisance with that Dragonlance and Yasha. FBZ's already becoming a nuisance going into that BKB into the Aghanim Scepter. And Gaimin, I do think might need to just kind of sit back a little bit.
That they do. I think if they will force a fight in Gaimin, it has to be pretty much a full team fight commitment, as I don't think you really lose out in a 5v5 as long as you do manage to kind of try to, you know, if you don't get picked up by, say, the tossback or the lasso, you're kind of happy on Gaimin for a 5v5. So that's where they kind of have to line up. Again, this circumstance was Watson trying to go for that play onto Mac and then just running back into this jungle, trying to get greedy instead of just instantly walking back across the river. And he was punished, and they just kind of get some good openings from Boom off of that. You still have some key timings coming in here for the side of Gaimin, right? Like you've got more flying out for Quinn, currently not chewing anything up, but again, has that value Dagon up. The blink for Watson leading into the Manta is going to be pretty strong as well with a self-dispel on hand. He's not going to be too worried, even without Ace next to him. He does have some counterplay. Ace, for his part, trying to go into the Echo Saber. And you've got this cheeky little Spirit Vessel coming out on Tofu relatively soon. Really just lacking the Vit booster gold at this point. So you still have some good timings lining in. And I think the side of Boom, the pressure's on them to actually play this hit and run. Right? Like, Blink coming out for Tims to tie in with his Blink on Mac. They do need to be the ones to be on the hunt. They do need to be the ones to find these heroes straggling one by one and trying to farm. Get that kill, go onto the objective. Try to just ambush them with this instant jump that you do have on hand. Because that's where you shine. You've got Lasso, you've got Blink Avatos. Whereas the side of Gaimin, they shine in team fights with that Fatal Bonds and Chaotic Outfit. And that's just the way you have to run here on Boom. We'll see if they can maintain that off of this tier 1 tower take. Do have a little bit of a wait as we're sorting out some technical issues. Hopefully that gets sorted out soon. Maybe it's time to cue some music in. It'd be nice.
No, who do you think you are to ask for music, Jonathan? My goodness.
Hey, I'd like...
Oh, there it goes.
Thank you. Our great producer. Lovely music. You know me, I enjoy this music. Look at that.
You'd 100% be a jester in medieval times. I'm just going to point it out right now, John.
I don't think I'm that funny, so I don't know if I'd be a great jester.
I never said you were trying to be funny, Jonathan. Right? But I think they just look at you and be like, that's the one. That's the guy.
Then I'd end up killed by the king for not being funny in the court, of course, as it tends to go. You have to go ahead at the very least.
It's what we're banking on, John. Come on now.
That's what you're lacking this day and age. Kaya up for Quinn. Look at this.
Oh my.
Zhao. All right.
Oh, the high school gameplay here from Zhao. You love to see it. He will not die.
Just turn around and life drain. That's all you need. Great stuff coming out from John Yuel. Does waste the Sonic Wave. So no freebies coming out for Quinn. A 7-7 game. Boom Esports have managed to equalize. And as this game goes on, if this lead doesn't grow for Gaimin with an Alchemist, it is an Alchemist game. You kind of need to have this lead keep growing, so they will jump forward.
Yeah, it's going to be an easy one for Watson. Happily take that away. It's still obviously an advantageous game here for the side of Gaimin. And mind you, of course, the net worth lead they have is pretty much all on Watson. But I could kind of make the same argument for Boom Esports right now. Like, all their net worth seems to be sitting onto FBZ. And he is very close now to that Aghanim Scepter, by the way, on the Timber Store. So that could be the big turning point that Boom are looking for. Like, once that you've got the Ags up with the reactive armor, you can make some big plays happen. It can be quite scary to go into them.
That you can. You don't have anything like a Eul's on hand just yet from NP Heroes in Gaimin to nullify that, so it's always going to be relevant on FBZ. 400 gold away from finishing that up. Echo Saber fully done on Ace, though. And into the Harpoon that he's likely to go. Yes, he does queue it up. Will make this game rather annoying, right? Like, we've seen this coming out with Harpoon plays. Especially with into Blinks, it can be a little bit awkward, creating that bigger gap, but can it also work against you? So it should provide a little bit of variety here. So the smoke does break onto Tofu.
Now, Lasso is going to connect. Tofu will go down. Zhao able to pick that one up as FBZ could not land the chains onto a tree. Quinn's still sticking around here just farming the area. Obviously, he doesn't really have too much to be worried about without the Lasso being up for Tims. So he will kind of just steal a few camps while he's around the area. But apart from that, it's going to be another nice easy kill here onto Tofu. Quinn's still hanging around seeing if he can pick off Tims perhaps. You've got that great burst potential on this Quap, but I'm not sure if it's 100% enough to burst the Bat Rider down, because we saw with Zhao it did not work out, and Tims is actually tankier on the Bat Rider than the Pugner is, so chances are it wouldn't be enough anyway.
Probably not. Choose to play it safe. I think this choice to play pretty damn safe on the side of Gaimin, not group up with his Chaotic Offering, is just giving a little bit too much space out to the side of Boom. Again, there's recovery coming in for Jackie. There's that Ags timing online now for FBZ. You've got the Phylactery at least very up for Mac as he does get the toss. The jump from Quinn doesn't amount to too much. There's just a little bit of threat out. They are starting to clump up. They hit this stride with the Manta up on Watson. It should be a little bit harder to deal with the Elk, but he's still trying to go for some offense into that Orchid. Still a little bit of time for that. But again, everyone else on the side of Boom has recovered. FBZ matching Quinn's form. Jackie just behind Quinn as well. Only Mac kind of taking that back seat, but We've seen Mac kind of do this in a lot of the Boom games where he's just bottom network core and he tries to make space in the end. And just with a blink alone, at least he can get things done.
Mac, look for a toss onto Ace. Won't quite find it, but they can look towards Tofu. Problem is they don't actually see Tofu. Tofu's okay to get out of there. No dust or sentries being placed. Watson's still farming across the map right now as well. I mean, if Boom wanted to try and rotate, but it doesn't seem like they really have a way to get there. So this rotation from either side, not really going to amount to anything.
I'm a little bit disappointed in Boom, just a tad bit there. Not even a single dust on the core. FBZ was blocked while walking. Jackie was blocked while walking. They pinged the area, but no one carries around the dust. Maybe that slot a little bit too... item slot too important at this point, but still, if they dusted up, they would have gotten another freebie. Only the support's carrying that dust, but you're not always going to be stuck right next to Tims and Zhao here. So you will want to at least have something to try to punish Tofu, but not quite having that. Again, 8-8 game, 5k lead for Gaimin rising back up here. They'll take their Tormentor as well, slowly but surely with Watson and Melodic, and it shouldn't be too long until that's up. You take a look at the graph, still at 66%. Win probability for the side of Gaimin Gladiators, but I just feel like Boom are managing this game well enough, right? You get the freebie shard for Melody, which is also nice with the upheaval imps as well. It can be quite annoying in prolonged fight. They don't manage to blow down Tofu again.
Yeah, he's alright this time. Melody is rather Watson's getting to the stage where he's starting to become a bit of an issue, I think. Like, this Alchemist is starting to really take off in the net worth department, now working towards a BKB after the Orchid pickup. I think once the BKB is up, you are starting to lack a lot of answers here in terms of what you're going to do about this Alchemist. And Boom Esports still doing their jobs, just looking for the Roshan pit now. See if Gaimin have the idea to try and make their way to the pit, but it seems like they're going to try and go the long way. Smoke up. They'll run through the mid lane, but they're going to be way too late to the party. So this first Roshan of the game looks like it'll just freely go the way of Boom. And they can't make it in time.
I'm a little bit surprised by that read from Gaimin. Maybe they take this post-Rosh fight. They're going to be running into each other. There is a little bit of vision here on Gaimin if the smoke breaks in a good spot.
It seems like they just want to get out of here. I mean, FBZ already TP. In fact, he didn't TP. He cancelled the TP, but indeed, they don't really want the fight. FBZ actually the one to take the Aegis as well on the Timbersaw. Not handing it over to Jackie this time. Would just rather take it himself. And with that game, they kind of missed out on an opportunity here, John. I mean, it's just losing Roshan like that when you're ahead is never going to feel good. It seemed like they knew what was probably happening, but they just couldn't get there as a unit in time. Not to be dissuaded, though. They'll still go for the bottom T1 tower, rather. But yeah, a bit of a loss. Probably going to put a bit of a delay on Gaimin trying to make the momentum move they're looking for now.
And it will. I do appreciate that FBZ takes this as well. It never feels great to have to give Aegis onto a transformation hero, as now Gaimin will also get the room out to steal away a Tormentor. It's going to be nice to have for Tofu to get his full shard. So now you have even more minus armor coming in, and you do have that untargetableness in the smoke screen, which does make it fairly annoying for Terribly. That's the one reason you see the Ricky, and not just for the silence, but even just not being able to target someone in smoke screen will mean that there's not going to be any Sunder save or self-Sunder save as well. If someone's healthy in there, you're just not going to be able to kind of fix yourself up. Inside of a game, it's still looking to apply that pressure. I mean, this Alchemist is still very difficult to try to burst down. And the side of Boom still know that they've got some weaknesses here. They'll try to smoke us too with Tims and Mac, and they've got Lasso back up if they want to play.
They're going to make the double dust out. Tofu will get caught with that, but they want a bigger target. Tofu for now, getting away with Tricks of the Trade and the Blink Strike. They're going to lasso up Watson in the meantime, though Watson's still surviving. Does get the Chemical Rage off in time, and Mac's the one in danger. Mac will just get destroyed. Nobody from Gaimin dying yet. Watson in the meantime looking for more, does find Zhao. He'll look for a TP play out of there and might just make it and does. No stuns if Watson doesn't have his available. But they still found Mac on the mid-tiny. You got to be happy with that.
And that's a real quick Orchid usage out to stop FBZ from getting any of his spells off as they're still hunting.
Yeah, Tims gets caught with his pants down behind the T2 tower. And with that, I mean, this is against the Aegis. Like, FBZ just did not find an opening to try and really jump in and make a fight happen. The Gaimin, even giving the Aegis away like that, not really dissuaded from just going for an easy push.
And again, that was awkward timing from Boom. FBZ had the gold for the BKB. They didn't just wait for him to build up first, try to force the fight. They didn't want that free pickoff, which I do agree with Boom and their rationale for that. It's time to start to really look for some bigger kills. But if FBZ doesn't have that protection with these Orchids on hand, then your Timbersaw still doesn't have a game. And he has the BKB up now, but it's just like 10 seconds too late from when he picked it up. And now you have your own BKBs up on the side of Gaimin. Watson has his. You've got the full Ags done on Quinn. So the Shadow Strike spam becomes a nuisance you have to be concerned about. You don't have a pipe to try to mitigate that here as well. So it's going to be consistent coming out from Gaimin. They're on the hunt with a bit of a smoke. Tofu already scouting out Jackie's position as well. Would be a nice pickup if they find him.
Oh, they might just as well. Watson's channeling up the stun. Jackie now realizing he's probably being watched, but it's all too late. In fact, a nice... No, it's not a mat to dodge. He'll try for it. Still trying to run. The Orchid was applied, and the life drain from Zhao, keeping Jackie alive. In fact, now the Thunder is out onto the Alchemist, but Watson's still just outrunning everybody. They're unable to secure a kill. Tim's in the meantime jumps in with the smoke screen. Not gonna allow the lasso to come out. They'll take down Zhao. They'll take down Tim's. Watson looking for another fight now, looking back towards Jackie, who's having to fight back, but it's not enough. He's gone. So is Mac. And FBZ, all he can do is BKB and run. I mean, he has a chance to fight back maybe, but he'll just chain out of it. It's a 4-man wipe. Only survivor FBZ with the Aegis intact once again.
Yeah, this is not good news for the side of Boom. I mean, getting that forced Thunder usage out from Jackie before they could line up for the burst play onto the Alk just really ruins any opportunities. And again, this is just the shortcoming of Boom's draft. Once it does become about 5v5s, you don't really win out. You've got the counterplay on Ace, you've got the Orchid build-up on Watson that just stops you in your tracks. The full Ags on Quinn just makes it painful for you to even consider clumping up. Not that you want to clump up anyway when you're playing into a Warlock with Fatal Bonds, but all of this really just staggers together. And even just the presence of Watson at this point just hurts. He's doing a ton of output now as well. Did 5k damage in the last fight, just with a Radiance and a few right hooks and the Unstable Concoctions coming through. And for Boom, I just don't see any easy answers. Like, BKBs kind of help. It's not something you could really see Jackie getting to pick up anytime soon. He is going back for the Bloodthorn, the Hurricane Pike, if he can work his way into that point. A BKB on Mac maybe helps with trying to connect with FBZ a little bit better, and kind of takes that, at least the Ags on the Quap away from the equation just a tad bit. But it just doesn't feel like any of this is enough. You're 17k behind. This Alchemist is off to its tremendous timing. And the high ground just begins, and this is Gaimin playing up against the Aegis that has expired on FBZ. Like, there's full confidence here.
Yeah, very, very tough. They're going to try for a defense. A lot of TPs incoming. They're stuck in the north of that tree line. They're going to try and move in now, but Watson's got his BKB off, so they don't really have the jump they wanted. FBZ trying for Tofu, but Tofu blink strikes out, and he will survive. Barely, but is still alive and does make it. So nobody will die here from Gaimin, but they do at least successfully defend the melee barracks. They'll lose a tier 3, they'll lose a range racks, but the melee barracks still stand. I guess that's something.
It is. I mean, they did pop Metamorphosis, so it's going to be down in short order, and that could be an opening for Gaimin if they did want to play. Have a minute and a half until next Roshan's up as well, and they could kind of chill out into that next objective if they so wish. Have a full BKB done on Quinn, a Yule's quickly done here on Tofu to maybe just line up some better smoke screens, or just buy time if he does get jumped on. And the side of Boom, again, I just don't see how you itemize your way out of this when you're 19k behind. They have to look for a good pickoff. The smoke scanned out by the Radiant side. It's already very obvious here for the side of Gaimin. Their own scan goes off here from Boom as well, but not going to be finding anything on this. Although, smoke out on Gaimin on that scan could lead into some circumstances here.
Well, jump in with the Avalanche. They are going to drag back in Mac. This will be a big pickup if they can find it once again. Ace, he'll be forced to pop the borrowed time. Meanwhile, Watson just jumping right into Mac on that tiny, and Mac is just deleted. Like, the toss-back plays, you just can't make them happen. Gel, this time not going to be able to TP away. And Watson, He just wants more. He's not going to find any more, but there is a barracks to be taken up at that top lane. Issue is FBZ has forced out the creep wave, so they do not have any creeps here to back them up. They're trying to drag him in through the mid wave, though. So eventually Watson will have his way with him.
Yep. Shift gears, focuses onto the mid instead. And I guess this is one point where Boom can try to play. Like, they've got Blink Lasso Force Staff with Toss Back. They can have some great repositional tools as long as Ace doesn't get the save out, which is a big if. See if they start to work some angles on this defense, but it's do or die for Boom. Feels like if they don't manage to stop this, then nothing changes into the next tower. I don't think. Again, it doesn't feel like any items can really come to fix this game for them.
Jump in onto the Tiny. Ace happily just going to turn right back around and fight. FBZ will start to move in. Ace taking a fair bit, but has the borrowed time. Instead, they'll go for the drag back with the lasso onto Quinn, trying to burst down the Quap, and they've got him. That's a big pickup. I mean, they barely got there because he was just about to blink away. But they do at least take a Quap for their trouble. But that is at the cost of the mid-racks. Tim's still trying to find Watson, but Watson, he'll get the blink away. He's perfectly fine. It's still very expensive, these kills that they are finding, and they're barely finding them at that.
Yeah, it's just a tough game for the side of Boom. I have to say, Watson's reaction time and getting these perfect Bloodthorn usages has been ruining the bigger play potential for Boom. Like, Mac comes in, instantly gets Bloodthorned up, can't really get the follow-through. It has to be Tim's coming in. Would have Blink Lasso at that point. It just complicates things for Boom. It stalls out that instant burst they want for a nice quick fight, for the numbers advantage, and then translate that into a bigger win. They do have room to try to equalize, just shoving onto the tier 2s with Jackie and his Illusion army. And the damage is pretty clean. We'll force out the Fortify a little bit early here, at the very least, so they have an opportunity to find some space on the map. But they are still 22k behind. And they have to work their way up against this Abaddon with a Harpoon who has been a big nuisance, with Watson who's starting to get really tanky with his full Reaver coming in, probably the overwhelming blink to be picked up soon here as well for the Alk. And with Quinn going for the full Shivas, the burst plays just shine. Again, no one went for pipe on the side of Boom, not even any casual Glimmer Cape this time around, so the magical damage coming in from this Quap is always going to be relevant. There's that full overwhelming blink as they do go for a smoke on the side of Gaimin Gladiators. And the side of Boom Esports, I mean, I feel like the best place for them to fight has to be high ground, right? It has to be these Blink Lasso plays, these Blink Tossbacks. Maybe you can try to force something around Roshan. Let's see, as their scan is on point and will clip someone in the end. They could take this opportunity to try to win a fight into Roche. And the illusion does kind of show some news there that a smoke is coming in from Gaimin.
That it is. Still waiting. I mean, Gaimin, they're not going into the pit. They're just casually waiting for somebody to try and show up. Tims will throw out a casual dust to see if Tofu's having a look around, but he's not. Ace going to jump in now with the Harpoon, but not really finding the opening factor. Oh, nice stun, Watson. He found Tims already. FBZ losing half his HP. He'll finally pop the reactive armor. Meanwhile, Mac's been spotted. Mac, though, just cannot do anything. Just needs to leave. They're always looking for this Tiny. Meanwhile, FBZ caught out, is going to get his TP cancelled and is gone. Meanwhile, Watson, double kill, triple kill. He'll take down Jackie and Mac on his own. And there goes Zhao. It's a full team wipe. GG.
It's not the most popular anymore, but with a PA on hand, having Wolfbite could be massive if this game goes super long. So there's always this room to grow.
Sadly, Ace did choose pack leader.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's boring.
Yeah, it's
Fair enough. How did you just go for Alpha Wolves? I'm like, all right. I mean, this still kind of works. This is just standard Lycans. You're going for Dominator. You're not going for the Midas. You're going for Tempo early on. But hey, this is your kind of gameplay, right? Like, if he could, he'd go Necronomicon.
No, well that's what I'm saying, Johnny. If Necro was in the game, then I'd say yes. But it's not really my gameplay if there's no Necromonicon, John, right? And as for the pack leader, I mean, I kind of appreciate why he doesn't go for Alpha Wolf this game. Like, you've got two supports who can escape. Earth Spirit, Darkseer, like Morphling. Like, nobody's going to die to the Alpha Wolves, I guess, is the idea. Although they would have still been incredibly annoying to have to go up against. But I think Ace he's set in his ways.
I think it's also maybe connected to just having a PA on your team as well, like Howl. That last point with 7 armor reduction is pretty damn big. And the attack damage reduction up against Morphling is also huge. So I can see that being a good reasoning for Ace to not go for the Alpha Wolves in this case.
Oh, Jackie.
Oh,
Jackie. Went in for a right click. Wasn't expecting the body blocks to come in from Ace. Oh, no. Jackie. Oh, Jackie. Wasn't anticipating the body blocks from the Wolves from Ace. And boy, oh boy, does that right click cost him.
And it does. Not going to be a fun time for Boom to have to play into that. At least it's Tofu to snag away the first blood, but they also do manage to get 3 bounty runes for themselves, so you're feeling pretty sharp here on the side of Gaimin. This lane for Jackie, at the very least, shouldn't be the worst lane in the world to Lycan. Of course, you're not going to be able to shove Ace away at all, for the most part, unless you're really on point with every single Fire Spirit on Zhao, and you manage to nail your spell timing every single time. But he's a very tanky Lycan. He's got good damage coming in from his range support on Tofu as well. Already poking Zhao down to a very low point. Not going to be comfy in this lane whatsoever. In fact, maybe a couple more right clicks and a dead shot will clean up the job if Zhao's not too careful. Taking a look at that mid lane, and this matchup for Quinn should be fairly smooth. Mac has played a lot Earth Spirit in recent time though. But again, this matchup just isn't clean for the Earth Spirit. The puck is very slippery, it has phase shift, you have that puckish innate, so every time you try to attempt onto Quinn, if he has that shift, is going to be a little bit better, although Quinn does overplay his hand just a tad bit. But Mac can't really shove him away. Even just the right-click trades for Quinn from his range is already feeling pretty damn good for himself here. Again, the key thing in this mid is going to be water rune control, it feels like here.
We always complain about facets and weird innates, but this is one of the innates that really annoys me, like this puck innate.
Oh yeah.
The fact that she can just keep getting these small resets every 8 seconds, it's kind of dumb. I feel like it's a bit much.
That it is. The sustain is just. I mean, the fact that it's a percent base of max just means it's so relevant into the late game. It feels like maybe flat values just to prevent stealing should be the right idea, perhaps, because puck late game is already a nuisance anyway. So there's that. We'll see in the patch, Mikey, whenever these 200 days are up. See if that's something that gets changed out. Still, can take a gander at the other lanes, right? Like, Watson and Maledict are having a pretty decent time up against FBZ. Like, this Darkseer can start to pop off if you hit level 3, but Watson's actually just jumping into harass across the creep wave, not caring about that first level Iron Shell, as Tim's is pulling. So I like that little aggressive play from Watson. Just goes in, tries to get some free harassment while no support's there to back him up. They get the pull into the small camp as well to help Watson hold it for the next wave. So he's got a double creep wave for himself to kind of soak up with no one to really stop him. You're getting that EXP gain for Tims and FBZ, but you are giving a lot to this PA. Watson is just going to get smooth sailing into his level 3-4 as well, and he's going to have that spell spam with the dagger. He's going to have a little bit more with a Phantom Strike as well. And yeah, I mean, we'll see if this pays off with the level 2 Iron Shell. They've got to do something on the side of Boom to make this lane a bit more annoying for Watson to farm in.
So far, so good though for the PA. Top CS right now for Watson. So really just having a great old time. You're not going to see too much in terms of harassment yet. And I think it goes back to the draft. Like, you've got PA Zeus against this Darkseer Tusk, and it's going to be quite hard for them to actually catch anyone out. You're kind of seeing it now. Tims, he can go for his shards, but Watson, he has Blink Strike. He can just jump out whenever. And it's kind of the thing for this duo in the off lane. It's just, I can't really see a kill happening unless one of these two makes a mistake.
Yeah, and it's very forgiving even if you do make a slight mistake.
Tims, Tims might be dead. Tims, oh Tims. Oh, now FBZ's in danger too. They're just juggling the Iron Shell between the two of them. Maledict needs to back off. Here's a rotation from Zhao to try and help out as Maledict should drop. He will save the life of FBZ. It's a nice little rotation from Zhao, but now Zhao's been jumped by Watson. Meanwhile, Mac goes down to Tofu in the mid lane while all this is happening. So that's a pretty big deal. And Watson, he's going to survive.
I'm a little bit surprised. Boom are focusing their resources on the other lanes. Tims does TP to try to help mid with a bottle top up. Does get the bottle in his inventory, but they're not able to contest water runes, so Quinn just finds all of it, gets to reset fully, gets a full advantage now onto that mid lane, and Mac just has nothing to play with. You're also just trying to give Jackie as much as he can. When you leave this Morphling alone, he's just not able to farm. 16-2 compared to Ace to 24-14 denies. This is not, you're not finding that timing you're looking for on Boom from the lanes here at least.
Jump in Tofu, bottom lane. They'll try and at least find the Muerta, but a very, very nice silence out onto Jackie, making life extremely hard. As Ace will force away Xiao. Tofu, he's going to survive another day. That calling really saving the day for him. Yeah, we're still a 1-3 in favor of Gaimin Gladiators. Again, all lanes have gone their way. Not one lane has been lost by Gaimin. They are ahead in every single one, at least in terms of CS. And that is not great news if you're a Boom Esports fan.
Nope.
Like, you just look back at mid lane, like, Quinn's really starting to take over now. Mac not having the greatest time now, one level behind on the Earth Spirit. And well, you've got the rotation from Maladich as well while the siege creep is up. Seeing if they can find an opportunity to take down Mac. If Quinn lands the coil, chances are they'll probably have enough damage to just burst him down. In fact, even more now. Tofu's rotating.
Yeah, they do get the scan off at the very least, so Mac knows something's up as none of the supports are showing, but this also gives Quinn easy access to the rune. It has the haste rune, could look for a rotation.
Well, top, Watson, he's going to blink strike out. Meanwhile, Ace bottom lane is in a bit of danger, but it looks like he might make it out as well as top lane. They are still trying to get Tims out of there. Tims, though, is out of options. He will have to die. Tofu to secure the kill. In fact, Tofu secured Jackie's courier. That was Quinn securing the kill.
Good killing up coming out from Gaimin. Again, this is a consequence of giving that rune out. They don't even manage to find that kill on Ace as he just regens right through with a Feral Impulse, and the Helm of Iron Will already up. Engine to heal through the damage of Johnny Well. They've got room to shove in bot. They even drag Mac in for this. He does have Magnetize ready. He has a good set of stones if he wants to try to play. We need something juicy here, though. Quinn would be a juicy one if they could find him.
Let's coil out onto Zhao. They'll try for the nice easy one. On Mac, he's going to roll through, but kind of just whiffs it. Couldn't really do much anyway, even if he connected. It's a nice easy pick-off here for Quinn, and this is the thing with Quinn's puck. Like, you just want to find easy pick-offs where you can. He doesn't mind. Dreamcore is such a low cooldown. He's just going to rotate every single time, find a kill, and just back to the mid lane. It's just rinse and repeat right now for the side of Gaimin. I mean, there's just nothing really going wrong for them.
No. I'd say it's actually atrocious for Boom. They have no rune control. They've lost out on water runes, they're losing out on power runes, they lose out on bounty runes as well. At the least they do find, I guess, their wisdom is that hasn't been sniped away at the very least, so FBZ did manage to snag that, but everything else for this mid has just not panned out for Mac. There's a big target painted on the back of Mac, and he's not really able to do much. Heck, he doesn't even have Brown Boots or his Power Tread stop. He's just so far behind on this mid. And you really don't have counterplay. How do you lock in this puck? It has to be from the Earth Spirit, but trying to lock in puck from Earth Spirit's position is asking for a lot.
Oh, Jackie, TP cancelled by Tofu. And Jackie will drop as Mac, he tried to help out. Pops the Magnetize. Ace is just casually running out of there, though. The more TPs they bring in, the more time it feels like they're wasting here, as nobody's actually catching anyone. As now Quinn's going to rotate over. Dreamcore connects onto at least FBZ. They do miss out on Mac for now, as Quinn could be in a spot of danger himself now, trying to find a way out of this scenario. He's put himself in, will jaunt back towards the right side of the map. Even Watson coming through the outpost just in case, rather the twin gate. And it seems like they'll get away with the Jackie kill and everyone else just leaves.
And they just can't find Punisher and Boom. It's back to these runes. Right? Like Quinn gets a regen rune, he drops low, it doesn't matter. Regen's right back up, starts poking on mid again after TPing away. Does get kicked back, maybe an opportunity to punish.
Just take down Quinn right now. Like, you just, even if you lock him down, you really just don't have the burst potential to deal with him. Like, you don't have that hero to get the damage out in time right now. It's a very challenging kind of situation already for Boom. You look at the top 3 net worths on the board right now, of course, they are all Gaimin. Top net worth is Ace on the Lycan as well, so the Helm of the Overlord timing is going to be very, very nice for Gaimin. And as we know, John, once that item's up, it can be pretty hard to contest.
That can be. They've got some room up, at least up top, for FBZ to just try to shove in onto that top tier 1. No one really coming in to try to punch the darks here, at the very least. Some pokes here for Tims.
I mean, they're going to find Maladich and Tofu, but it's really just Tims. Tims now looking to try and back away out of here, but that's going to be a free kill to Watson. So Watson will pick up his first kill of the game. Meanwhile, Ace is still just messing around with Zhao and Jackie, just throwing units at them over and over again with the wolf form, and they actually can't contest it.
No. It's a bit too quick. A little bit too much damage as well. You do still have to temper yourselves up against the horde that Lycan can summon up for himself here. 1-7 Gaimin Gladiators, a very clean game, and for Boom, it just looks a little bit lost. Even their stacks are being spotted. Malady.
I mean, he doesn't have the jump away, so he should go down. Watson not going to stick around, and neither will quit. They'll see the Zeus die, and that'll be enough for them. So Boom, they get away with a quick, easy support kill. The main issue being all the cores are still farming extremely well here on Gaimin's side of things. And I think the biggest concern still stands. It is the Lycan. You know, he's going to have his item up in just a moment, and we'll see how Boom want to try and deal with it. For now, they're going to pressure that top tier 1 tower. And it seems like they'll be left to get away with it, as well as Jackie will join. Gaimin, again, don't really seem too concerned about this tier 1 top tower going down.
No.
Just keep the farm going on their cores. They know they're in a great position right now.
And, they are. I mean, they've got the confidence to just play across the river already, even with the mid tier 1 standing and the bot tier 1. Right, they're already just reaching into these closer camps that are right by there on the mid tier 1. They're reaching across to try to pressure down bot. Jackie doesn't even have his full Vlad's up, although it is flying in now at the very least. So that's something if his courier doesn't die, and he does manage to pick it up before it dies. So there's that, but the tower still falls. It's a very straightforward game right now for the side of Gaimin. And for Boom, I'm not sure how you simplify this one down. You've got the mech timing lined up for FBZ, right, going straight for the pipes, so some damage mitigation coming through there. Egg is ready as the coil flies out.
It'll be a casual coil committed. Quinn seems like he just wanted to secure the power rune for himself. Yeah, Dream Coil being one of the lowest cooldown ultimates in the game makes it so easy to just spam it out just to secure these little objectives. So Quinn now with an Invis rune bottled up, almost has the Witch's Blade available. When you look at Mac, I mean, he's going for the Blade Mail build up, which is pretty standard for Earth Spirit mid, but I mean, it has felt quite underwhelming so far. Haven't really seen much of the early game Earth Spirit we like to see. Tims, he's going to find Maladich. Heavenly Jump going to be committed already, but it won't matter. That'll be enough as Tim's now in the middle of nowhere. He's still going to try and move in, of course, but he's not going to get anything. He's fighting a god here in Maladich, and that's going to be another easy kill to Watson. As they're looking towards the tier 1 mid tower now, of course, Ace does have the helm of the Overlord up.
There's just no answers coming out from the side of Room Esports. All they can hope for is just try to build up, get these auras out on FBZ, maybe take a good vac wall with Egg kind of team fight here, and try to buy space for Jackie, but even Jackie's farm is just lagging behind. No one having a good game whatsoever on the side of Boom. And that just means there's no launching point to try to connect with these two supports, with these early spikes that level 1 Egg has, that the Iron Shell has, and trying to get aggressive with a burst play that you could be looking for, perhaps with a punch on these softer targets. You just can't really look for it. And Gaimin, again, they're satisfied enough to allow their PA and Lycan to kind of build up. You've got some free space for Ace top. You've already got the Battle Fury up and running for Watson. Already one part into the Yasha, maybe the Manta or the SNY, depending on what he feels like this game. And again, Boom has no map presence. They're not really shoving out waves. They threaten top tier 1, but they're not taking over that part of the map. They've got ward watching top lane, but top jungle at least, but they're also just not able to play in that area. And this is just a lot of gold flowing into Gaimin, slowly but surely growing that lead. Looking for a play again.
Coil committed. They found Mac. It's another big target. And Mac, he's just getting destroyed. He is gone. Malich does die, but these are just horrible trades once again for Boom. Like, you're losing your mid laner, you're finding a support, and it's a pos 5 at that. Not great news. You're in an 8k advantage, by the way, now for Gaimin, John, and this is without the Alchemist this time. In fact, they have a higher net worth lead than last game around at this stage of the game, funnily enough.
Yeah, it's just been rougher for the side of Boom. To be fair, that kill on Malavich was slightly better for Boom, even though you lose your mid, right? Like, it's 505 gold for 401. That's how far behind you are in Boom at 15 minutes in. Like, this is a massive lead the side of Gaimin Gladiators. And again, Boom, I'm just wondering, when do you guys start to play together? When do you guys start to play off of FBZ? Do you have to wait for that full Crimson? That'll help up against the Lycan and PA for sure. Maybe that's the time they're looking for. Because it feels like there's this potential with Egg and Shards, Entrapment, and Vac Wall. That you could get a team fight going your way somehow. We'll smoke up now on the side of Boom as the Blade Mail starts to fly in onto Mac. Roshan has begun though, and it's already falling pretty quickly here for the side of Gaimin. Not too much time whatsoever, so just a little bit late in the uptake here.
Boomer, I mean, do they still want to take the fight? Like, Gaimin, they're in a great position to fight. They're still basically all full HP and mana. It's really just Quinn that's lacking a bit of mana here, but he won't mind if they do start. Tim's already just getting destroyed by Ace. We'll get a snowball off in time, but now they're looking towards Mac, who does get his roll blocked. Tim's will go down. Mac is not making it out. He is gone a boot. FBZ, he'll surge away, but the chase continues as Ace. He's got plenty of time on that shapeshift. He wants a bit more. He'll run right into FBZ, but instead he'll see Jackie, who's going to try and go for the man fight here on the Morphling, but he can do nothing. Look at the damage.
What is this?
That's through his strength morph here. So even fine, Zhao, that's 4 for nothing. Age is still intact here for Watson. No, they're just getting outclassed here, John. There's no two ways about it.
I just don't understand it. So, right, they take that smoke, they break the smoke under the ward. Their focus is kind of split up. You know, it's a difficult game for Mac to try to land that instant control, sure. But even then, right, like the Vac Wall's there. They don't really tie in with the positioning from Zhao. Zhao pops all his fire spirits, so he doesn't egg initially. Then he's forced to egg to try to buy space. That also doesn't do anything. Like, the decision-making Boom just looks a little bit lost. This is not the Boom that we see in qualifiers beating these other Southeast Asian teams. They look a little bit uncoordinated right now, honestly. They'll try again here, though.
They'll try. Tofu's not actually dying that quickly, though, concerningly enough. He still has 20 stick charges to commit. They'll roll in again. Tofu will heal up now. Eventually, he will die. Watson thinking about jumping on a Mac, but the roll away will be there. So they do get Watson. It is worth a lot of gold. In fact, that was almost a thousand gold swing. Just out of that one support kill.
I mean, it's Tofu's worth a lot. He had a bit of a streak going as well. And you are 12k ahead at 18 minutes. A single kill can kind of swing it back that far, but not enough to really dictate the game just yet, considering the game state for the Boom cores. They're still working into that aura buildup we've been talking about for FBZ, at the very least just lacking the recipe for the Crimson Guard. And maybe your confidence starts to go up at that point. Tim's?
Yeah, I mean, he's trying to buy himself a bit of time here to get away, but there's just zero chance of that happening. Watson, meanwhile, has got an amp damage rune now, so he's definitely looking for a big fight. Might just find Zhao to burst down if he's lucky. He will not, though. Everyone gets back towards the base here for Boom. They are, again, 12k behind, and it does seem like Gaimin are going to start working towards those T2 towers. In fact, they are right now in the mid lane. Bottom T2 will probably be next. Boom, they are still just lacking any kind of answer here to what Gaimin are providing on their side of things. Like, you don't really have anyone to rely on, it feels like.
No.
Like, not one of the cores can actually make a big play apart from maybe FBZ. Ace, gonna get the wolf form off in time. They'll drag him back through the wall, but he won't mind. He'll just casually run out of there. Now a big Dream Core locking 4 of them down. Watson, he's in the middle of all this. He'll lose his Age at the least. He does take Zhao with him. Zhao's gonna buy back. They'll try again for Watson. This time around without the Aegis up. Can they kill him? The answer is no so far. Ace dropping low as well, but he's alright to back off. And really nothing, apart from the Aegis going down, comes out of this. In fact, they even had to commit a buyback on their Phoenix.
I'm a little bit surprised about that one. It's like Zhao doesn't even have a supernova. He already used it, and he died to Watson just jumping in with no care. Like this Phoenix egg stuck at level 1, not able to hit level 12 anytime soon here for Zhao. You don't have that durability to try to play with. And, you know, looking back at the draft here, Mike, this is Gaimin Gladiators first picking PA. They first pick PA, and boom, go into the Morphling. And we figured maybe they have an answer because the core, you know, it has some quirkiness here for Jackie. Right, like you can't directly kill off the PA with just right clicks. You have to go for an NKD down the line if you want that, or a Bloodthorn if you feel like you can just out-time the PA. Watson already has the Manta style, so that kind of isn't the solution. And like that, Watson's also going for the Glimmer Cape, for just some protection on the magical damage. That's just going to be enough. Forces out some economy here as well, and boom, having to go for Dust and Sentries. They'll at least find their own Tormentor, as Tofu finds his Shard, and Zhao gets his own. So Sunray on Supernova is kind of nice, but Spell Amp for Tofu is kind of big as well, though Tofu hasn't really had kills under Pierce the Veil anyhow. So that's not really a factor just yet. 15k lead for Gaimin Gladiators, 4-15 at 20 minutes in. A 74% win probability coming out for the side of Gaimin as well. As I just don't know what you're looking for in Doom. I don't know what kind of team fight you're gunning for. They've had some attempts with the Vac Wall and the Supernova on top. It has not looked anywhere near enough. Jackie has no damage to speak of. Just going for the Manta and still trying to finish that one up. Still 80 gold away. Even with the Manta up, like, that's still not damage. That's still not an answer to how much is coming in from Gaimin, and they're going to get collapsed on here.
They sure are. FBZ is going to be the target. Rod of Atos will hold him down. The calling as well on top, though he still had the Surge to play with, so he's out of there. Nobody dropping. Quinn was not around, or at least not close enough to be able to get a Dream Coil off that time. But Gaimin kind of just showing you how scared Boom are right now of their presence. Is they'll go back towards the mid lane, they'll just keep all the waves forced in. Because you're probably just looking towards the next Roshan if you are Gaimin Gladiators here. Just keep the farm going and just continue escalating out of control.
Yep.
This game, they are still grouped up. They'll find another Shield Rune here for Quinn.
They've had such perfect rune control on the side of Gaimin. A lot of those early runes just leading to these kill opportunities for Quinn. A little bit of smoke out from the side of Boom. Dragging Mac, Tims, and Zhao along. With FBZ catching up as well. Maybe this play onto Watson can work out.
Oh, they're going to try to burst him down. He's got a Glimmer Cape up though, so it's quite hard to actually get through his HP. Pulls now a big back wall onto 3 targets. This could be it. They found Maladich. They'll find Watson, and they'll find Tofu. Well, that's what you wanted to see. But it's all off the back of FBZ. Like, if the Vac wall isn't there, there's just no fight.
No. And that's what they needed. That's the kind of team fight we've been looking for from Boom, that they've been trying to connect but have really not, just focused on different targets on different sides of the fight. They get a 3.4k, probably 4.1 considering gold lost as well for Gaimin. Gold swing their way a massive amount considering, and they do manage to clear to mid tier 1. Mind you, you're still in control for Gaimin Gladiators, but it's a shot in the arm for Boom. It's some gold coming in, it's allowing them to just catch up that much more. FBZ is still trying to finish up the last part of his aura with that full pipe. Maybe just go for Guardian Greaves afterwards and you're kind of set. On that Darkseer, you've got the Manta up on Jackie. Along with that Dragonlance, as Quinn tries to go for a solo kill.
Well, Mac's going to be forced to just pop his BKB. That'll be his first charge of the game being committed. I think Quinn will be more than happy with that trade. And he's got a full Plasma up, so his damage output is pretty stupid right now on the park. Again, I think they're just casually waiting for Roshan, and it is actually a quick timer. It took 9 seconds for it to respawn. They might be a little bit early, probably not assuming Roshan would already be up, but if they do want to have a gander, they'd find themselves a nice present in the Roshan pit.
It would. Doesn't take too long again to clear out Roshan when you got PA and Lycan on hand. Just the Howl giving a little bit more minus armor does help Watson quite a fair bit, and Watson's doing a ton of damage already, going for the Nullifier to try to keep people tied in and stop that surge from being an issue, and stop the barriers from being an issue, really. The side of Boom, what are we inching towards? You've got the Yules on Zhao going for the side of Vice. You've got The BKB that we saw Mac pop on, trying to go into at least the Veil of Discord with that full Shivas up. And again, FBZ just, Jackie just trying to farm his way into a Butterfly. Maybe at that point with the Butterfly, you start to feel a little bit more confident. Again, the evasion's still going to be an issue, but we have seen there is enough magical damage here to take care of that PA. Since Watson did go a little bit greedy, right? He didn't go BKB. He's not respecting a lot of the magical damage output here, just depending and reliant on that Glimmer Cape, which doesn't have the biggest barrier in the world. So once they do manage to start to stack heroes on top, with the Iron Shell, things can start to go sideways fast. They're waiting for Roche, and Watson will find it, running back into its pit. And Roche will officially begin. They've got the output with Watson. Boom on the opposite side of the map, just clearing a tier 1. Not going to be able to contest. Not that I mean, this is actually a pretty decent spot for Boom to try to fight if they did manage to get their position right. They will smoke. Gate movement, no ward to watch Gate, but there is a wolf at the least, and it is going fast.
There you go. There's Roshan. They're still going through the twin gates. This could be a pretty awkward fight to force, but Boom, they're going to try. Max rolled in. They'll find Ace, but the wolf form is going to get off in time, so he's perfectly alright to just run his way out there. The Walrus punch him up. Ace still kind of trapped up here, but he's just so tanky. They can't deal with him quick enough. He's perfectly fine. Meanwhile, Watson and Jackie, they're going for a man fight on the left side of the map. Jackie, though, still going. Meanwhile, Quinn, he got silenced up, but he'll run out of there as Watson still moving on to FBZ. Dream call out now. Back towards the PA. Watson might lose his first life, though he's still barely alive, though finally does go down the first time. Boom. Still moving in. With 5, they'll lose Quinn in the meantime here in the puck, so it's a good fight here for Boom so far, if they can get Jackie out of there, that is. But Jackie will go down to Watson, but Watson's still surrounded by 4 heroes. Can he fight his way out of this one? I don't think so. Watson looks like he is set to fall. Though where the hell did he go? He blink strikes. He's alright. Tofu was there to allow him the escape route. And meanwhile, Tofu, of course, will be left behind, but this is a great fight now for Boom.
They made that work. That looked so awkward for them to start off. The buyback from Tim's, the angle coming out, like Zhao being caught in the side. I figured they might have had enough, but Quinn just runs past them, focusing on the rest of the wider fight. They did manage to burst down Ace with the Sunray commitment with the Supernova. And I think that's a big part. Taking care of this Lycan, making it simpler to manage the rest of these engagements without having to chase this pesky wolf around, did make that fight simpler for the side of Boom. And again, it's coming back to this build for Watson, not having BKB, not having anything to protect him from this control, from this magical damage outside of the Glimmer Cape. Is fairly greedy. He does have his full nullifier up, a lot more damage coming in, a lot more counter control coming in here for the side of Gaimin Gladiators, but they have been bleeding gold back. The 3 cores on side of Boom are slowly starting to close that gap. Still a ways off, still 11k behind. And the wider team fight kind of looking good for Boom.
They're going to try for Ace another time, but we've seen this before. Ace with the wolf form does manage to easily walk out. As this time, Tim's does go down. Mac's going to try and roll out with his BKB, and we'll be fine for now as Watson's still looking for another target. We'll run into FBZ, but the surge away is there. Now the nullifier from Watson being placed onto Mac, as Mac's still in danger, has his roll blocked. Watson going deep, but he won't go past the tier 3. In fact, maybe they will. Coil was committed. Quinn wants the kill, and they'll get it. In fact, Watson now into the tier 4 towers. They'll drag him back with the vac wall, but it won't matter. Watson does make it back towards his team. And suddenly that good team fight we just saw means nothing.
No. I mean, it's a good showing from the side of Boom, but they get over-eager. They get punished for it again. This time that movement onto Ace just does not pan out, and Zhao gets blown up before his Supernova can come back off cooldown. They lose the mid-racks. They're going to lose top. They have respawn shortly at the very least, but they can try to force one last fight. No wall to tie into that one. Just the vac might not be enough, though. We'll have to see as Gaimin, they smell blood in the water. 11 to 20, 18k lead. They want to start off their DreamLeague season 25 to a strong start, and so far it's looking good for them. Very nice and clean in both games. And for the side of Boom, just a little bit more scattered. Some moments of brilliance tied in with some very questionable decisions have just been really the story of Boom, I think, in this current roster. They've had some great times where they look amazing. They look like they should be at the top of Southeast Asia. And then there are other times where it's just like, they don't look like 5 players playing on a team. No, it's just too inconsistent for the side of Boom up against a team like Gaimin.
It certainly is. Gaimin still looking pretty clean. Quinn moving on to Jackie. Another coil committed. Just look at the damage output from Quinn. Watson now happily moving in onto the Morphling, and Jackie just cannot sustain himself when there's that much incoming. Another great kill here for Gaimin Gladiators. And at this stage, you're just looking on high ground now, I think. Nothing really in the way of stopping you. You've kind of established you are the stronger team at this stage of the game. They've already taken a mid-racks. They may as well go for the bottom. And the top is already taken as well, mind you. So 1 racks to go. And Boom Esports, I just don't see how you defend unless, again, FBZ lands the best vac wall of his life, but they're not giving him the opportunity to do so. They'll roll in, but the wolf form was there from Ace instead, though Quinn does get caught. Quinn has been caught. That's a big one. Tofu's going to be left behind as well. It seems like Boom will successfully find a way to defend. The Tofu's still actually running, but does finally go down to Jackie, who does pick up a double kill on the Morphling. I thought it was going to have to be a huge vac wall, but I think Quinn got caught with the silence from the Earth Spirit, and that's all she wrote for Quinn.
Yeah, they got good entrapment out as well with the shards. All of that follow-through damage. Consistent Sunray coming out from Zhao as well. That percent-based burn is keeping them relevant here on the side of Boom. There are still 2 racks down. They're 19k behind in the game, but signs of life at the very least for the side of Boom Esports. Mind you, buying back on Jackie is stalling out his big spike with a butterfly. But once that butterfly is up, that will cause issues for Watson, who will need a way to get through that evasion, which is not going to be too easy. Neither will it be easy for Ace. Good to see, though. Ace is going for the Ags here on our light. So we will get a Wolf Bite PA jumping around. A jumping wolf is what we'll see in this game, which always makes me excited, Mikey. Once that's up. I don't think it's even necessary. Honestly, legitimately, if Gaimin just wanted to clean this game out, they would probably just buy BKBs and end it. But they are looking to, style on a little bit, try and just burst them down, force Boom into a position of surrender. And to be fair, if they find Jackie one more time, I think that's it. Like, there's not going to be enough unless, again, good entrapment, good silences come in, along with a back wall and a Sunray on top at minimum. And that's going to be a recipe for success on Boom, but Jackie's gone, and that just becomes harder to look for. Gaimin still playing across the river, keeping every single lane shoved in. Only 1 last racks to worry about. Tier 3 holding on to dear life at 22 HP. A breeze would kill it off at this point. You've got the Octarian up on Quinn. Full Satanic up on Watson. Ace has his Ags flying out. Very good to see. Wolfbite PA, let's go to close it out here. As Boom will smoke, maybe they find an angle out, but Gaimin will smoke as well, and Wolfbite PA is not going to be fun to play into.
No, it's not, John. Let's see it. Go on now. Here we go. We have double wolves. They're going to move in. Butterfly up on Jackie, but he's left himself with 0 buyback gold. Nobody's here, by the way. Watson's finding out the hard way. Nobody's actually here but Mac. So they'll just go for the racks instead. I mean, if you don't want the fight, you don't want the fight. Range racks is down. Melee barracks is the only one left standing here for Boom Esports. On the bright side, Wolf form is of course about to wear off on Watson, and they will retreat. They won't stick around for the final melee barracks yet. In fairness, Roshan is officially respawning in 45 seconds, so it's probably just worth playing it safe.
Probably best to do so. Again, you don't want to give Boom a chance to come back in. They've already shown that they can take some fights off the side of Gaimin. So they're showing a lot of respect in Gaimin, not underestimating Boom in any capacity. And we'll see Watson go back for BKB at this point in the build-up. Quinn just looking to also have the protection of BKB. So they are looking to end the game at this point, which is very nice to see. See if they can spot Roshan. Just a few more seconds here for Watson if he wants to camp this area. Doesn't look like he'll have the patience to wait for it. Maybe expecting it to be a nighttime spawn, but it's going to be a very brief daytime spawn here for Roche. For Boom Esports part, I mean, you are working into a BKB for Tim's. Jackie just thinking about what he'd want now post Butterfly, BKB for FBZ as well, with full auras going, with that full Guardian Reeves up. Casual Glimmer Cape for Mac to just protect with a full Shiva's up. I mean, there are still relevant tools on Boom. Again, as the enemy team gets more formed, this Vac wall combination stays relevant. The egg from Jiao with a Sunray, and even just the Sunray alone, is already doing a ton of work as well. So you have a lot of that to consider. Side of Gaimin just going across for Roche as he will begin his march into his home, clocking out of the office at this point. He does have that Banner, Aegis, and Ag's Blessing on hand. So a lot of bonuses here for the side of Gaimin Gladiators to take. And again, Roche does not take too long. Watson will go in. Boom have no way of fighting in there right now. They have to deal with 3 Ags, probably just going out to Quinn, which means that if the Dream Coil flies on, the damage is just going to overwhelm them. Even though he still doesn't have that level 25 talent at the least. Yeah, Quinn will take it. Boom, we'll have to see if they can take a fight, Mike, because we're just inching towards endgame here, and Boom is just hanging on with a sliver of hope. That one hope for Southeast Asia, to get a draw.
Here we go. I mean, I feel like the hope's dead right now, John. I'm not gonna lie. You know, I'm usually the hopeful one, John, but it's not looking great. I'll be frank with you.
But yeah. It's rough. It's rough.
There's an assassin that's turning into a wolf, John. How do you beat that?
You can't beat Twilight, Mike. You can't.
No, but it still annoys me you watched Twilight and you liked it.
No, I didn't. I was making fun of it in high school. Me and my friends, you know, Lowell, we were all just yelling when Edward came out because it was all the teenage girls there as well. We were like, oh, let's watch Twilight for the funnies, and we were just yelling along with them. It was fun. It's like watching The Room and throwing spoons at the screen, you know? Good experience.
I've never watched The Room, Jonathan. They're gonna jump in. Mac endangered. Coil to lock 2 of them down. Look at the egg will be dropped here by Jiao. It's complete chaos. The wolf form Watson. Is it going to work out? He's actually in a bit of danger here, Watson. He might lose the first life, but no, apparently not. He'll just jump right back in, taking down Mac. Jackie the next target. They will leave Jackie alone for now, moving back into the melee barracks, but it looks like they need to run. There's too many buybacks incoming here for Boom Esports. And Gaimin, they still hold on to the Aegis, so they may as well look for a reset if they can. Tofu will go down, but if you get away with those buybacks committed, I think you'll be more than happy. The game, it almost looked like they want to try and jump back in. No coil on Quinn at the moment.
The illusions were doing a ton of damage. That's why they had to reset in game, and it was a very tight spot for them to fight into. But now no egg, no vac wall, no magnetize for a few more. They've got a clear angle back if they wanted to, but let's see if they'll want to force it. And Watson, the jumping wolf, is just doing so much damage when that wolf bite is up, and it's going to be up in a few more seconds. Might as well wait for that full reset. 32k lead for Gaimin Gladiators. Dota Plus giving Boom Esports a 4% chance to win, Mikey. Even Dota Plus, you know, having a sliver of hope, huffing that hopium as well. I would not give it 5%. I would not give it 4 or 5%. I would just be, it's 100%, sadly. But yeah, you know, Dota Plus is giving some hope for Southeast Asia.
And we appreciate it, Dota Plus. Thank you. This is why I continue paying for this service, John. For the hope.
Free service now as well, I'm pretty sure. This win probability.
Is it, John? I'm still paying. I wouldn't know.
I still am. I don't want to risk it. I do remember reading it was. Smoke on smoke. Boom with air smoke not quite amounting to too much in Gaimin. Well, they're just going to bash their heads against this wall. But that wall's back up, magnetizes back up.
There's an amp damage on Watson. They're actually going to jump Quinn straight away. Quinn might actually get bursted down, but no, in fact, never mind. Tim's is the one to go down first. They'll buy back on Tim's, but can they actually get much done with this? Jackie's trying to fight against Watson, but he's just getting destroyed. He's down. No buyback on Jackie. Now the defense looks impossible. It's FBZ. Look at the damage. Oh, FBZ, just get out of there. GG's call. My goodness. Gaimin Gladiators. Our dominant victories, a rampage in the Fountain for.
Oh my lord.
I mean, why not? Why not?
Yeah. I mean, again, the confidence from Gaimin Gladiators.